If you hear the word investor or you get those cards in the mail, we'll buy your house all cash, you need to run away. You need to burn that card and throw it away because they're looking to get a good deal on your house so they can fix it and flip it and make money off your lack of knowledge. When somebody calls me up and says to me, my house is a wreck, you know what? Some people, I go to the house, they need to clean it up. When I think of a wreck, I think of mold, I think of holes in the wall, I think of a roof leaking. Don't you be the judge. Let me be the judge. And if you have a realtor that you trust, no competition for me. I don't really care. I want the best for you. And if they have to look at it and eyeball it and say, guess what? This house is worth more than you think it's worth, and you can sell it as is. You don't have to fix this house up because it's not as bad as you think it is.
Welcome to the Insurance Wise Guys podcast, where we cut through the confusion and give you the straight, honest answers about the topics that matter most when you're approaching retirement and navigating Medicare. I'm your host, Paul Barrett, Medicare broker, the last 18 years and founder of the Modern Medicare Agency. My whole career has been built around one simple idea. People deserve information from someone who actually has their best interest at heart. And that's exactly what the show is about. Every episode, I'm bringing in experts, attorneys, financial planners, real estate pros, Medicare specialists, people who work in the trenches every day with the same audience I serve. People 60, 65, 70 years old and trying to make smart decisions about their health, their money, and their future. Here's the honest truth, guys. Medicare is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle, and decisions you make around your home, your real estate, retirement income, they all connect. Make one wrong move in one area and it ripples to everything else. Today's guest is someone I've known personally for a long time. And when I tell you he knows real estate, I mean, he really knows real estate. Gary Lewis is the founder of the Real Estate Authorities, based right here in New York. He's been on the radio. He's helped literally hundreds and hundreds of homeowners sell their homes, avoid foreclosure, navigate estate sales, short sales, divorce sales. You name it, Gary has seen it all. And today we're going to talk about that stuff that keeps my clients up at night, downsizing, home equity, what happens to a home when parents pass away, and etc. This is a conversation you're going to want to share with someone you know. Gary, welcome to the Wise Guys Insurance Show. It is great to have you on.
Geez, thank you so much. The introduction was amazing. I kind of really sounded like, I kind of sound better than I like that. I sounded really good. Can we do another introduction? I mean, that was great.
All right.
And by the way, you forgot that I'm a very good softball player also.
Well,
Got that
let everybody out there already knew that.
Exactly. Yeah. Listen, Paul, I've been working with you for a long time. We've been friends for a while. We played ball together and just my accolades to you is that there's nobody else I'd want to work with, as far as, and I referred plenty of people, including my fiance, and God knows if you can work with her, you can work with anybody. But enough of that. No, but you've done so many things for me and I appreciate it all. And, again, a little feather in your cap that anybody that is listening, and I know there's plenty, you got to listen to this gentleman because he knows everything and is always out there to learn more. But this is the guy. But anyway, enough of you. Let's get back to me.
All right, Gary. So like I said, you and I go way back, obviously.
Yeah.
But the audience doesn't know you yet. So tell us really who you are and what the real estate authority does that's actually different from the traditional real estate company.
Let me tell you, I don't have a script. I never work with a script. I do a lot of advertising on the radio, on TV. I'm very fairly well known, but it took me a long time to get there. A lot of heartache as well. And I'm not embarrassed to share my story because to me, it's a very, very good story. And when I look back on it, I do get a tear in my eye because I realize that I've done a lot of things and persevered, so to speak. So I just want to say that years and years ago, I was doing a lot of radio hosting. I got out of that and I ran into a very, very big problem where I got divorced. Okay. And I was in trouble money wise. I ended up getting my house into foreclosure. I ended up doing a short sale and I'm not even embarrassed to talk about that. I'm really not, because if it helps people, that's what I do. And then I came back and I saw that I could work with a lot of people, help a lot of people. I went back on the radio where I was a host and everybody liked me and remembered me. That's a good thing. And I came back very, very, very strong, stronger than ever. And again, this is not bragging. This is just a story. And I'm happy to say that I'm back exactly where I wanted to be. Not so much worrying about money, but worrying about other people that are getting scammed into situations. So the fact that I was in foreclosure, that I was down on my luck, that I had no money, I didn't know where I was going to turn, owed more on my home than it was worth. So I came back in. I said, you know what? I'm here for a reason. I have a purpose. And I really believe that. And trust me, I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but I believe in fate. And I was put here for a reason now, even though I did have my fun hosting a show and doing this and doing that, different things that I did. But this was my calling because I'm able to help so many people that are in trouble. And let me tell you something. You just pick up your phone now and somebody's going to be on the other end trying to scam you. So they're out here more and more. But let me tell you something. They're not out there trying to chase you for a $40 pair of pants or a $5,000 car. Okay. They're trying to scam you for real estate. And there are a lot of people that are our age and older. Okay. 60s. I'm in my 60s. Okay. And there are a lot of people out there that are not savvy in real estate, that don't know a lot of things. And that doesn't mean you're not intelligent. I tell this to all my clients and people that call me in leads. Please do not think that you're not a smart person, because I got to be honest with you. I'm a damn smart person, but I don't know anything about what Paul does. I really don't. As far as he put me in the right place, okay. I don't know anything about cars. My mechanic takes care of anything. I got to go pick up my car in a little while anyway. I have no idea what he did, but I know the car's running better. I trust the guy, and I put my eggs in that basket. I need to let people know that there are still good people out there. There are good people. You have to find them, because there's so many bad people out there that you don't know who's who anymore. So I'm just here to say that I've been there. I weathered the storm. I was in foreclosure. I wandered, okay, for years trying to find, what I was going to do. But I'm telling you right now, I got it down, Paul. I got it down. I know exactly what needs to be done. I know exactly how to deal with somebody that's in trouble, somebody that hasn't paid their mortgage, somebody who wants to make a decision, somebody who wants to downsize, somebody that has a reverse mortgage, wants to get out of it, somebody that passed away. So many things. I am a wealth of information. But if you want to ask me about Medicare, Medicaid, and how to get insurance, if you want to ask me how to figure the pistons out and put I don't know any of that. I can't even hang a picture. But I know how to deal in real estate and direct people the right way. And I say on my commercials, if anybody ever heard me on WABC and 1010 Wins, and all my commercials, by the way, Paul, are done off in my head. I just go with it, and they've been knock on wood successful. And something I came out with, which is very interesting, we can discuss this. Money doesn't motivate me. You do. And when I say you, it's the person that's listening to the commercial. So here's the deal, and not in any offensive way, but knock on wood, I'm back. I'm okay. Okay. But are you okay? Okay. So at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you're okay. I will direct you in the right way, even if I'm not making money. And so many people out there, Paul, are all money motivated. Okay. So when somebody calls me up and says, Gary, I want to sell my property, I say, well, what's the problem? Well, I can't afford the mortgage for $2,800. I said, well, where are you going for $2,800 in this market right now? You get a one bedroom for $3,500. You have to suck it up and figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes not so easy, Paul, but I had to make a dime when somebody else would have said, you know what? Let me come to your house. We'll sell the property and that's it. And then all of a sudden you make I want to make the right decision and help you make the right decision for you, not for me.
What's the one thing you wish more people understood about selling their home before they ever picked up the phone to call you?
Which more people knew about? Well, I would say the value of their property, but here's the problem. People think they know the value of their property and cut themselves short. Okay. What do I wish people knew? I wish they knew that, what they consider, don't make your own decisions. In other words, when somebody calls me up and says to me, my house is a wreck, you know what? Some people, I go to the house, they need to clean it up. When I think of a wreck, I think of mold. I think of holes in the wall. I think of a roof leaking. Don't you be the judge. Let me be the judge. Okay. And if you have a realtor that you trust, okay. And again, no competition for me. I don't really care. I want the best for you. And if they have to look at it and eyeball it and say, guess what? This house is worth more than you think it's worth. And you can sell it as is. You don't have to fix this house up because it's not as bad as you think it is. So I wish people understood that before they make their own decision. And Paul, you've done that in your life and I've done it in my life. I've assumed that you can't sell this property because it needs too much work. You can't assume nowadays in a market like right now, the market is crazy. There's not enough supply for the demand. So all those common sense things are out the window. How does it make sense that right now you're buying a house for $950,000 when 5 years ago it was $720,000? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But you know what? You're in the driver's seat. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know I'm definitely guilty of assuming that I know what's going on. And with this computer age, right? We go on Zillow and all of a sudden we think we know exactly what our house is worth because Zillow told me. I have
Yeah.
I'm with Medicare.
Paul,
ChatGPT told me.
I want to stop you for one quick second because you brought up a good point. People use assessments to say, well, last I checked, my house is worth 650. Last you checked, the house was, that's the assessment. Sometimes they might even go high because they're passing by your house and say, okay, 1 John Street, looks like it's in good condition. Price of a 700,000, you know, when they're trying to get the most in taxes. So people aren't getting the right information even on assessment. And that's why the tax grievances people that are out there. So you can't assume anything, like you say. And don't tell me what you think the house is worth. I have comparables that I can look up at no charge to let people know based on their house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, basement, blah, 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 on a 20 by 100, whatever it is. I'll compare it to another house. So you really and truly know what you can get for your property. And even so, supply and demand ticks it up even more.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that a lot. And I've watched homes in my own neighborhood go for rates that just blow my mind. And most of the people that are in your age bracket, they're running for the hills. They're cashing in and moving to another state.
Right.
It,
Well,
it's crazy.
it's Yeah, no, it's 100% crazy. But there's so many people that are not in the know that are making very, very, very bad decisions. There are people at barbecues right now. The weather's getting nice. It turns and say, "Hey, I heard you sold your house, John. How much you get for it?" I got 680. Wait, you had the same house I did. I got 780. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, somebody lowballed them to make an instant gratification as a commission. I don't care. I'm not in that situation. This is my first deal. This is not going to be my last deal. It's me doing the right thing so I can go to sleep at night and know that I did the right thing for my client.
Yeah, amen to that. We need more people out there like that. As you said in the beginning, the toughest thing right now, whether you're a real estate agent, a lawyer, an insurance agent, seems like there's more bad and okay people in the field than there is good. So it takes a little vet.
Always when there's money that you're going to find those people.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of my audience is pretty much 62 to 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They've lived in their homes 20, 30 years. The kids are gone. I hear it all the time. My house is
Right.
too big. I don't know what to do. What does the conversation sound like when someone calls you about downsizing? How do you approach them?
Well, and downsizing, this market is very funny, Paul, and folks, you have to listen. And that is downsizing right now is, if you're in New York, you're not downsizing. You can't downsize in New York because, listen, I said this before, I'll say it again. If you live in New York, take it or leave it. You got to have money. You got to be do I say rich? You got to be in an upper class to live in New York now. The taxes are crazy, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So downsizing in New York is not possible. Do you want to go to Idaho? You want to go to Wyoming? Do you want to go to Nebraska? Hey, you know what? If there's family, that's a different story. But cost of living is much different in some of these other states. I don't know because Florida, which is a great place to run down to, which people do all the time, is turned into a little New York. Even that's crazy. So, you know what? Things are changing. I don't have a direct handle on that as far as where you would go, but downsizing in a market like now might be renting, but do you really want to pay stupid rent to a landlord? And now you're beholden to the landlord who's going to tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and everything else. No. So right now, you have to take a hard look at yourself and decide where you want to go, do some research, and then put the house on the market or speak to somebody to find out what the house is worth. And then you can go from there. Like you said, a lot of people are getting older. There's a lot of houses right now that are being inherited by, some of the parents, unfortunately, which is the worst part of my job. I don't like when people pass away. Nobody does, but it's inevitable. It happens. I can't believe I'm even saying it, but there's a lot of people that have reverse mortgages that pass away. Those loans get called in right away. And some of the children out there, which are, in their 60s, like us are, have to figure out how to inherit that house before the public administrator gets in touch with it and in charge of it. And then, then it's not right. It doesn't go in your direction. So anybody that has lost a parent or a loved one that had a house, a friend, a family, a coworker, whatever it is, step in and say, hey, wait a minute. I heard somebody or I heard a podcast or whatever it is, and just say, let's find out about this. Let's find out, how this can be done. Now, a lot of people say, well, there's lawyers involved and this and that. Paul, just like in your business, legally, there's shortcuts to a lot of things. So the courts are backed up. So not sometimes you have to be appointed as the administrator of the estate. This takes months and months and months, sometimes a year. But there's ways that I work with a title company that we can do affidavits, airship affidavits, meaning that if somebody had passed away, okay, we can find people that know them to sign something to say that they knew them for so many years and it bypasses. It's a little tricky. It's all legitimate. It's all legal. But in that case, folks, pick up the phone, like I said, and make a phone call and find out exactly what's going on. You need to do that, especially in situations where you inherit homes. I just got off the phone with somebody just now that didn't even realize they inherited a home, and they're in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm telling them they're going to be walking away with some big money. They didn't even know their mother passed away. They locked up the house. Nobody's been there. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's not that I'm money oriented. It's that why leave it on the table? You're going to give it to the state?
Oh, I'm with you on that one. So you mentioned something about reverse mortgages. I watch the commercials all the time, and I know a little bit about mortgages, but not everything.
Right.
They always say, you can you can still leave the value of your home to your children, but you just said something that made it sound like it's a little more complicated than a traditional passing on of the home when there's a reverse mortgage involved.
When it's a reverse mortgage, and the person that's on the mortgage passes away, the mortgage company calls in the mortgage. Because if you're 80, 82, 83 years old, okay, and you live past that, the bank's kind of starting to lose. They're starting to lose money. And the bank doesn't want to lose money. They're all about making money. So they want that loan in right away. Somebody lives till 86, 90, God bless them, it's great, but not great for the reverse mortgage. So in some cases, the family could buy it at the price that they owe on it. Okay. Minus, I think, 15% or something. But again, I'm not a reverse mortgage guy, but I know reverse mortgages do work for a lot of people that are in a situation where they don't want to leave. Okay. And they can do a reverse mortgage and stay in the house and just live on the equity of the property. So there's a lot of things that can be done with that also. I don't handle that. But again, these are the phone calls I get. And I am the authority, my real estate authority. So I believe that I try to do the right thing. And even if it doesn't favor me monetarily, I'll still direct anybody that wants to contact me in the right direction. And that's what I do. And that's what you do. So we work together.
Right. It sounds like you're making perfect sense to me as, listen, there's a product for everybody, and not everybody's for a reverse mortgage. It's not going to work for everybody, but for some folks, hey, a reverse mortgage could save them, could keep them in the area, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the end all be all. So, all right, I get that. What about you were talking about the inheritance thing? I've recently seen a couple of families that had large families that want these homes to get sold so quickly because they think mom and dad's home is worth millions of dollars.
Right.
You deal with any of those situations?
Yeah, and you know what? That's where a lot of people run into a problem. And I'm going to talk in something that everybody understands, and it's called an investor. Okay? If you hear the word investor or you get those cards in the mail, we'll buy your house all cash, you need to run away. You need to burn that card and throw it away because they're looking to get a good deal on your house so they can fix it and flip it and make money off your lack of knowledge. Listen to what I'm saying because it's the truth. Okay. You cannot deal with these investors that are looking to buy your house. You put it out on the market and let the best man win, called a bidding war. And in the market like today, that's what you need to do is create a bidding war for your home. Okay. Because I don't think that your parents or you would want to leave any money on the table. And that doesn't make you a pig. Excuse my expression, but that's what people say. Pigs get slaughtered, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest. Do you really want to give money to an investor that your mom and dad worked so hard for and cultivated and made flowers and made a beautiful gate out in front and made it a beautiful home? Okay. And then all of a sudden you're going to give away to an investor. They don't need the money. You need the money. Okay. Some people might be saying, well, I don't need the money. Trump needs the money. Everybody that has money wants more money, but not at anybody's expense. But in the investor situation, watch yourself. Watch yourself.
All right. I've gotten those notifications from clients as well when they've been getting ready to think about moving. Exactly what you said, literally handwritten notes dropped in their mailbox. And they're asking,
They're not handwritten,
is
by
this
the way.
legitimate?
They look like they are.
Right, right.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like the Anderson windows that are always in my mailbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Handwritten. I get it. It's a shame that people try and take advantage like that to make it look like it's a personal touch on top of the fact they're already trying to club them in the head and get the home for much less than it's really worth. So
Listen, you do whatever you can. At the end of the day, it is a business. I'm not going to say I'm a non-for-profit, but I know, okay, that when somebody gets on the phone to me and says, "How does money not motivate you?" Now, I'm not going to say I'm rich as, whatever, but I'm okay. And as long as I do the right thing, I feel more rich. I feel really rich in doing the right thing. That's what floats my boat, so to speak. So when somebody calls me and I get on the phone with them and I say, "Hey, listen, you're paying $3,200 a month. You ain't going anywhere for $3,200 a month. So you're not ready to sell your property yet. You have equity in it. So take a deep breath, talk to the wife, figure out how you can generate more income, work overtime, whatever it is. Because if you start to rent, you're going to be miserable. Your marriage is going to fall apart and all kinds of problems are going to happen that you don't even realize." And I'm not saying I know the future, but I am divorced. I know exactly. I have a little experience in everything. So all I'm saying to you is, I deal with people every single day. And there's some days I go days or a week without getting a deal. And I'm okay with that because one day they might say, "Listen, I wasn't ready to sell my house, but this guy, Gary, I called him to sell my property. He ended up keeping me in it." And I get on my phone, I get birthday wishes and Father's Day wishes from clients from 5, 8, 10, 15 years ago. That's what I love. They're not handing me any money. It's thanking them. They're down in Florida. I helped their life. I moved everything. I moved everything together. Folks, I had somebody sell their property and I worked with the agent down there because the agent down there sounded like a wise guy. No disrespect to you, okay? But sounded like a guy that was looking to take advantage of these people. I wasn't going to go the first leg and help them, and then the second leg they get clobbered, like you said, from another agent. So I said to the agent, "Listen, this is my family. Don't fool around with them, okay? Do the right thing because I'm going to be looking over everything." And the people loved it. And I ended up getting them a better deal. And they said, "Oh, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. I didn't know that." Guess what? That's okay. I know it. Paul knows it. You're in good hands.
yeah, that's really great. I love hearing stuff like that. Listen, if you could sit down with every 65-year-old homeowner in America, give them one piece of advice about retirement and their home, what would it be?
What would it be? That's a good question. I mean, what advice would I give them? Well, work with somebody that you feel comfortable with. Family members aren't the people. And I only say that because everybody that's called me that has a family member in the business doesn't want them knowing their business. So if you're looking to sell, be cautious. You don't want everybody knowing your business. Okay. And be very, very careful because here's the most important thing. 65 years old, God willing, you live till 90. My father is 92. He's playing tennis twice a day. I mean, it's ridiculous. So realize you need that money. And if you make a mistake and it costs you 80, 90, or $200,000, divide that $200,000 by that's what you lost. That's a lot of money. So that's why these scammers and these agent investors and even agents that don't know what they're doing, you have to realize you have to work with the right people. Now, again, I am the right person. You can reach out to me, but if you can't for whatever reason, okay, you got to do your due diligence because you can make a mistake at a dinner and I ordered the wrong thing, honey. It was $23. I didn't eat it. $23. I'm talking $150,000. You can't make a mistake like that. That's your future, and you're going to live.
Yeah, perfect example. I can tell you when we moved into my house that I'm in now, we kind of got bullied by my mother-in-law into using somebody to be the home inspector. The guy who
Oh,
was a construction guy who lost his job, who took a course online, is now the home inspector.
right, right.
Excited about it. He was very cheap, and being cheap cost me tens of thousands of dollars. He missed so many things. And as a real estate agent, once everything's signed, there's nothing I could do. I agreed. I had my guy go in and inspect it. We signed off on it. So I had to get a new water heater. I had to get a new oven. I had cracks in my foundation. There was leaks. The chimney actually had duct tape on the top of it. And when I had the chimney guy come in and taking the duct tape off, I was like, the guy was leaning on the chimney when he was up there on the roof inspecting the house. He didn't see the duct tape. It was crazy. But he's a cousin of my mother-in-law. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there you go.
You know, let me tell you something. That's a big problem, by the way. And I want to point that out before we get out of here. And that is that there's a lot of people that are in cahoots. I think us 60-year-olds understand what cahoots means. Okay. They're all in it together.
Yeah.
So when an investor, and if you're working with an investor right now, if that investor brought you to their lawyer, there's a conflict of interest.
Hmm.
That's a conflict of interest. So the lawyer is getting paid for the most part in deals coming from the investor. The investor is saying, don't screw this one up. I want to make sure. So tell them everything, is good and there's not a problem and just go along with it or you'll never get another deal from me. And you're the one sitting in the hot seat. And you have no idea this is going on because, oh, yeah, you have some money. That's great. No, no, stop. Can't do that. So think about that conflict of interest. That investors are doing that all day long. Once they hook you in, they give you to their lawyer and blah, 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 and everything else. So be careful with that. And you know what? I have an infomercial that runs on TV every once in a while. And the name of it is, it used to be Let the Buyer Beware. Now it's Let the Seller Beware. The seller has to know a lot of things. So the name of my show is The Real Estate Authorities, Let the Seller Beware. Okay. And it's true because, the seller needs to know a lot of stuff before they put this thing on the market. And there's a lot of people also that want to sell the house by themselves. They want to avoid the commission. Folks, if you work with the right guy, commission, they'll lower it, whatever it is. You can't have strange people walking into your house. You can't do that. They're not vetted. You don't know what they make. You don't know what that credit report is. You don't know what they're doing. They're eyeing the place. You cannot make mistakes. And I'll be honest with you. I'm in my 60s. We all forget things, but there's a lot of people that, are easygoing. They're gullible. And again, it's no disrespect. We know who we are. I know that I forget things. People also know that, I'm easily sold. Got to be careful. You got to get the antennas up immediately because there's a lot of money here. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions. We're in Long Island. I think the average price is 700,000. You got a good house, you're over $1 million. Cannot take chances, guys.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So I don't want to keep you too long, but if someone's listening
Okay.
now and you're thinking about moving, downsizing, selling, doing something with their home, they're in financial trouble, what's their very first step they should take?
If they're in financial trouble or they're with their house, or what are you thinking?
I'm
Like,
thinking any of the above. I'm teeing you up, my friend. What should
what,
they do? I know what I would do if I was in financial trouble. I thought about downsizing. I'm thinking about selling my home.
right.
Who do they call?
Well, I never tell anybody. People call me, and I don't talk anybody into selling their home. I do not do that. But if you're in trouble, I had a guy call me the other day. He's out here in Long Island, and he's in trouble. He's got and the first thing I ask, and it's personal, but I say, "Are you married? Do you have a kid?" They say, "Yeah." I said, "Okay," because I gotta figure out the relocation. I don't want to uproot a kid. I moved a few times when I was a kid. It wasn't fun. So I look at all that stuff. How much money are you going to get out of it? Can you invest that property? A whole other thing. Can you get 5, 8%? Can you take from that money? And are you still working? Do you have Medicare, Social Security? So there's so many different things. So I'm saying that you can't function when you're under that type of stress, whether or not you're working, or whether or not you're laying in the sun, or whether or not you're having dinner with your wife or husband. You have to have a clear head. So that's something that can lay on you for a long time. So there's decisions that have to be made. Sometimes it's best just to sell, downsize, get yourself a condo down in Florida. It's camp down there. Let's be honest. I mean, if you find the right area,
Mm.
you have money in the bank, you're working, and you got activities Monday through Friday, Monday through Monday. So there is another life out there other than stressing to try and make it New York. Make it New York or make it anywhere. That's the case. But think about it. If you're struggling here, you step 1 foot over the line of the state line. It's a different world. New York is tough. That's all I'm saying. And I know you're all over, Paul, but I'm saying New York for right now, which is my domain. It's a tough place to make it. It really is.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think one thing the audience needs to know about yourself, myself, and other people that I'm going to bring onto the show.
Right.
I think it's really, really important to understand. I take it personal when there's a problem. Like you said before, I've got a few video testimonials from people I've met when I didn't have time, but their story hit me and I was like, wow, this guy's getting screwed. I got to help this guy just because I could. And I want to prove that I can so I can have the little S on my chest. I know it's a little egotistical, but I like to stop the bullies. I don't like when people get bullied. And I feel like from a lot of the stories you've shared with me, that's kind of your situation too. Of course, we like to enroll people in policies and make money, and you like to sell homes and make money. But there is super satisfaction when you help somebody out of a problem, even if you don't get paid. That is
Right.
sometimes even more rewarding.
True. You're right. You're 100% right. The biggest problem with me, Paul, and this is where probably I might turn off some of the audience, is that I get in bed with them and I get personally involved to a point where I get very angry. Okay. And I'll call the person that's trying to take advantage of them. I'm saying, what are you doing? What are you trying to buy this house for 450,000 when you know damn well it's worth 600,000? Don't ever contact them again. So I get a little angry. I mean, I don't curse, I don't get physical, but I'm saying sometimes our clients, your clients, my clients, whoever, can't say those things. Those are the tough things. Most of my clients that call me are very, very nice.
Uh-huh.
Some people want you to do the dirty work. Hey, can you call that guy and tell him not to call me anymore? He's trying. They know it. They just can't say it. You call her one more time and I'm going to get you for harassment. You cannot do that. You're not taking advantage of this woman or this family, not as long as I'm involved. If you don't like it, sue me. I don't care. So I get angry. Like you say, people that are getting bullied, we get very defensive for our clients. Even if you only knew them for a few months, they become your friend. I know how you are because you were with me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just channel your energies in the right way. And that's what I do. And I do it very, very well. That I'm telling you.
All right. Well, with that, Gary, where's the best place for everyone to reach you? If someone needs to call Gary because they have questions about any of these topics we discussed, how they get in touch with Gary?
Okay, let me first say that when you call me, you're not going to get some person handling my phone calls. I handle every one of my phone calls, number one, because that's the most important thing. You hear me now? You're going to get me on the phone. You're going to feel good about that. Number two, I am 40 minutes from wherever you're listening to me in New York. Okay, I'm 40 minutes. I can be in the Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Mount Vernon, Yonkers, Long Island, wherever, just so you understand. Okay. So I'm not one of these scam guys that are coming out of Florida or, whatever, calling you up and So here's the deal. I give you my 800 number, which will go right to my phone, or my 516 number. Which one do you think would be good, Paul? You tell me. Go to 800 number?
Sure. Go with the 800 number. Why not?
800, because, we get older, we don't want to pay for it. But you don't pay for it anyway. 800-544-1720. 800-544-1720. That's the number. Let me give that again in my radio voice. Ladies and gentlemen, trying to find Gary, call him right now at 800-544-1720. Operators are not standing by. I'll be picking up the phone.
All right. That's great. I really appreciate everything, Gary. And I wish you the best. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for spending some time with us and answering some questions that I honestly, like you said, you don't know about Medicare. I know nothing
I
about real estate.
That's why we work together. I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. And pick up the phone and find out where you stand. It might not be as bad as you think. Might even be better, a lot better. So call me.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys.
Take care. And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Insurance Wise Guys. If today's conversation made you think, good, that's exactly the point. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it, because the best thing you can do for people you care about is make sure they have the right information before they need it. I'm Paul Barrett. Stay wise, stay protected, and we'll see you next time.